Three, two, one. Bam, people. We are back at you guys once again with another podcast. Here we go.
Oh yeah, it's podcast time.
Yes, sir. Now, this time around, guys, we're going to be talking about video games.
Oh yes,
Yes.
video games, huh?
Yes. This podcast is going to be 100% about video games tonight. Yes. We're going to be diving deep into, say, like current stuff. I really want to get into talking about the Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection, which
Good
is
collection.
coming out sometime in 2025. We're going to be getting into that, and also we'll be talking about like the Nintendo Switch 2, my likes and dislikes,
Yeah.
and we'll also be talking about just random things about video games. And then at the end of the podcast, we're going to be answering some video game questions from Daniel Santana.
Sounds good to me.
Heck yeah. So, yeah, we're going to have a fun night.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot going on. And, yeah, it's a good time to check all this stuff out in the video game world.
Yeah.
And also, we'll be listening in to, let's see here, the YouTuber Dynasty. He talks about Mortal Kombat Legacy. I want to listen to a little bit of what he has to say about it and all that good stuff. So here we go. Let's get this bitch going. Yes,
Let's do it to it.
Yes, sir. So, okay. First thing I want to get into is, well, before I get into the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, I wanted to mention that, I went to Walmart today, early in the morning, to look around at the games, and I noticed they had some Nintendo Switch 2 games. They had a few like accessories and like a controller or two, but they didn't have no systems.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So those things are probably going to be sold out for a while. From what I gather, they're selling pretty good.
That's another thing that sucks, man. Like when they come out with a new game system or whatever, it's like you got to be like right there when it first comes out to grab one.
Yeah, you better be right there to pre-order that thing
if you're
right
not,
away.
Like, good luck.
Good luck. But the thing is, I'm not really interested in the Nintendo Switch 2 that much.
Yeah.
There's some like, things I really don't care for about it. Plus, I already have the Switch OLED, so it's like I don't really at this time need or even want the Switch 2. But I'll get more into that when we start talking about that. But first things first, let's get into the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which is, like I said, sometime coming out in 2025.
Ooh.
Let's see here.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, been around a long time. Now, this is something I've been wanting to see for a long time. For years, I've been saying, that we need to have some kind of Mortal Kombat collection where they put in, a lot of these old school games in one cool, kick-ass collection.
Yeah.
And here we go.
I know one thing. I'm way so behind on video games now because I don't really play video games much anymore. But
right.
I know there's been a lot of Mortal Kombat games that's come out that I wanted to play, but I just never had the system or never had the money for the game or.
Right.
I know there's quite a lot of Mortal Kombat games.
Oh yeah, for a lot of different systems over the years.
Like the ones now they're making that they're adding like horror villains in them, like
oh yeah,
like Leatherface and Freddy and
right. That was like MK9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
They added a lot of like
the thing that
movie
sucks,
characters.
Like I said, I've never got to play any of those games, but I always would say if I get a chance to, I'd play every fucking one of them.
Yeah. I'm sure some of those you could find pretty cheap. I mean, I know they sell MK9 for the PS3. You have a PS3.
Yeah,
that has Freddy's in that one.
I have a PS3 that's so damn outdated you can't even really do. About the only thing you probably do on it now is play a video game
Well,
on it.
that's all I do. I don't take it online.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
that's what I used to always, that was like my internet service was on that.
on the PS3.
Yeah, because
Right
you
on.
could always get on YouTube. You can watch YouTube on your TV.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
yeah. Things have changed.
and
I'm
then
sure you can
sometimes
with the PS4, but in PS5. But
yeah, the
so
thing is, though, do I want to go out and get games? Because I just right now in life, I just really ain't got time to sit back and play video games anymore.
I hear you. Pretty busy.
Yeah,
So let's see here. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. This is coming out for like every system.
that's
This is Nintendo Switch 2, PS4, PS5, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S.
damn.
That's pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna get it for like the Switch and PS4 for sure.
Yeah,
Um, and we're gonna be going over. Let's see. We're gonna the games here that are confirmed so far. There's gonna be more coming.
yeah,
Um, the let's see. It says the following games are versions that are confirmed in the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection with additional games to be announced. So as of right now of this recording, this podcast, we got games that will be announced later on, which they may announce them by the time this podcast comes out because we're in late June as of right now. I'm not posting this until sometime in July. So certain things may,
oh, come on, man.
change.
You're not gonna post this about 5 years from
No,
now.
we're going into yeah, right. Yeah, we're going. It's going into July because that's when that's all about video games for the month of July.
Yeah,
So okay, with additional games to be announced. First of all, let's talk about the games that are already announced, and
oh
then
yeah,
I'm gonna go over my wish list of games, MK games that I want in this bad boy.
yeah,
Okay, so first up, the original Mortal Kombat 1.
yeah,
So for what they're saying in this collection, you're going to get Mortal Kombat 1, you're going to get the arcade version, the
yeah.
Super NES version, the Sega Genesis version, the Game Boy version, and the Game Gear version.
Damn.
That's pretty cool. So you're getting 5 different versions of MK1, which is awesome.
Yeah. Which was it one that we always played?
What do you mean, back in the 90s?
Yeah.
We played the hell out of Trilogy. I know that.
I just remember the one that we always used to play had jacks with the metal arms.
Yeah. I It could have been like MK for all MK2 or 3 maybe.
I don't. I just remember that it was just Mortal. To me, it was just Mortal Kombat for the PlayStation
Well,
One.
he didn't have metal arms in MK1.
One of the games I played, he did.
Yeah, maybe MK2. I think that's when he
Yeah.
got the metal arms.
I remember playing the one and always being Liu Kang doing whenever I play, I'd be cheap and do those sweeps that he did over and over and over again.
Yeah, pissing people off.
So, you know what? Fuck them. You know,
I hear you.
there's no rule. There's no rule of fucking video games that you say that you can't sit there and just do the same thing over and
That's
over.
true. That's true. Fighting games, anything goes.
You know,
So, okay, you're getting five
it's like,
different.
it's like playing a wrestling game with you, motherfucker. You keep doing the same damn move over and over and over again. It's like,
Right. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do to win.
yeah,
So, all right.
or learn more move sets.
True that. I've never been good at doing that, by the way. Getting real good with one specific wrestling game.
Yeah,
But let's see here. Okay, 5 different versions of MK1 is going to be in this collection. Now, as far as MK2 goes, You're going to get the arcade version, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and the 32X, which is cool. So they're adding the Sega 32X version to this. I've never played. I don't think I ever played the 32X version or the Game Boy versions of those games, or even the Game Gear.
Well, if you get the Legacy Pack, you could play. You play it on every system.
Oh
man.
yeah. Now I do have Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 on the Sega Genesis, and I have Mortal Kombat 2 for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But and I have the arcade versions of 1, 2, and 3 downloaded to my PS3. Plus, they're on the some of those are on those Midway, arcade whatever treasures or whatever it's called. So okay, you're getting 5 different versions for the MK2, which is kick ass. Now we're gonna Mortal Kombat 3. You get the arcade version, Super NES version, and the Genesis version, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now we got Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. You're going to get the arcade version and the Super NES version. Nothing else has been announced as of yet, which is pretty cool. Ultimate MK3 is pretty good. And then something a lot of us have been wanting to see for, I think, a long time because it hasn't happened up until now, which is Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4 hit the arcades. It also hit like the PS1, Nintendo 64, and also the Dreamcast, known as Mortal Kombat Gold. But after that, there's never been any kind of release of Mortal Kombat 4, no DLC or like collections until now. That's kick ass. But the only thing they're announcing is just the arcade version as of right now. I'm hoping they pull out those other ones, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
And then next up here is they got Mortal Kombat Advance for the Game Boy Advance, which will be in this collection. They have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance for the Game Boy Advance, and Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition for the Game Boy Advance. And that's all they have as of right now at this time of this recording, which is not too bad. You're getting a lot of games. And they say more to come. Now, okay, this is my wish list, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do this. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It hasn't been announced as of yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get it. It came out, on the PS1, N64, and Sega Saturn. And that's another thing. As far as my wish list goes, that's got to be in this collection. I just can't. I can't see Mortal Kombat Trilogy not in this collection. And I'm hoping that all the Mortal Kombat games that hit the Sega Saturn are in this collection. So if you give us Trilogy,
gotta be. Do it.
If they give us Trilogy and they give us the Saturn versions, I think what else came out? I think MK2, MK3 hit the Saturn as well. Also, on top of that, I would like to see, I think it was called Ultimate Mortal Kombat for the Nintendo DS. I would like to see that in this collection. It's not like it has to be there or anything, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, icing to the cake, I would say this is a must-have. We need, I would say, give us all versions of MK4. Give us the PS1, N64, and the Dreamcast, the MK Gold. It would be really cool if they gave us Mortal Kombat Gold for the Dreamcast, the first version that they released that had bugs, and then later on, they released a fixed version when it says the hot new sticker on there where they fixed the bugs. It would be cool if they added both versions in this collection. Now, if they fucking do that, if they add MK Trilogy, right? More, more of the MK4 games, and add in the Sega Saturn games, the Sega Saturn games as well. This thing is going to sell, I believe, extremely well. You know,
Yeah.
but I don't know what their plans are as of yet. As far as like newer, like the Mortal Kombat games that came out on the PS2, PS3, GameCube, I don't like. It's possible they could add those in. I don't see them doing that. Maybe if they did a volume two. I mean, because you're already getting a lot of games as it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, no matter what, this thing is already going to sell, I think, really well. I really want to play Mortal Kombat 4 again. So
Yeah.
that's a game I've been I've been on the lookout for a while now. I wanted to get it for the N64 or PS1.
Yeah. I like to play all the fucking Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat games
Well,
again.
it looks like we're going to. When this collection comes out, I don't even care like what the price is for this. I mean, this is something that I'm willing to pay full price
Um,
for.
yeah,
Yeah,
I guarantee you care. I bet if you went up there and they said they wanted $5,000 for that damn shit, would you be like, oh no problem, here's five thousand
yeah, okay,
dollars.
yeah. Nobody's going to charge 5,000 for a game
Well, you just said you'd pay.
full
You know,
price, which is like usually 59.99, something like
no,
that.
no, you're not. You're talking like you want to pay $5,000 there, pal. You want to say, oh, you're willing to pay whatever.
Yeah.
Just
All
fucking
right.
with you.
But yeah, I mean, something like that is worth full price because if you were to buy these games, these individually, like the cartridge and all that,
Yeah.
the discs, it would cost you a couple $100 as it is. So this collection, I don't know what they're going to charge, but uh, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit what the YouTuber Dynasty has to say about Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. He's got a video here that says everything we know. We're only going to listen to a little bit of this so that, you know, we see what's going on. So here we go.
Okay, so here we go. This is essentially all the other information about the Legacy Collection that we know so far, other than the actual trailer itself. Goes on to say, Digital Eclipse brings the classic arcade home and handheld games to PlayStation in 2025 again.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just PlayStation, it's on everything. At Digital Eclipse, we specialize in restoring historic games for modern consoles, giving
Yeah.
legendary classics the respect they deserve. As you might imagine, we get a lot of requests from fans. For many years now, the overwhelming number one request has been Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we were so excited to reveal in today's State of Play that we're partnering with our friends at WB Interactive Entertainment to bring Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection later in 2025.
Yes.
Goes on to say,
Oh yeah.
with multiple 90s and 2000 games from the early years of this groundbreaking fighting game series, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection will also provide a comprehensive, detailed look at the franchise's history ever assembled.
Nice.
We'll take you back to the glorious 1990s, the days of arcades and tokens, of hidden fatalities and secret characters, the original versions of Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and UMK3. But we're not stopping there. Many of the home versions of these games from vintage 16-bit consoles and yes, even handheld systems are also included, and the arcade and console games can be played online with rollback netcode, which is
Awesome.
honestly insane.
Yes, that
I
is pretty
can't
cool.
believe they finally did it. It took forever, but the mission
Yeah.
worked.
Oh,
Goes on
yeah.
to say, want to enter in the blood code and challenge a friend to throw down in the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat Online? You'll be able to, and we'll even enter the blood code for you in case you don't remember. Now, this
That's
is
cool.
the big stuff right here. Here's a list of the playable games we've announced so far, with more on the way. Mortal
Yes.
Kombat 1992, the arcade version, Super
Yes.
Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy,
Yeah,
and
stuff
Game
that
Gear.
we
Then you get
just
Mortal
went over.
Kombat 2, the arcade ports, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, and 32X,
2X.
which is crazy. Mortal
Oh, he's got an ad. He's got an ad. Well, yeah, I guess we'll stop his video there. because he got an ad pop up. But yeah, that is awesome. Well, I'm very much looking forward to that.
That's
This
gonna be
this
fucking
yeah
sweet.
this collection's gonna be off the chain, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, this is
The
getting better.
arcade,
Well, I'll
Super
play a little bit
Nintendo,
more,
and
I
the
guess, of
Genesis,
his video
UMK3,
since I
the
skipped his
arcade,
ad.
Super Nintendo, Mortal Kombat 4, the arcade version, which is again just mind blowing to
Yep.
think MK4 is finally
It's
released.
mine,
Mortal
man.
Kombat Advance, which was such a shock to see. Initially, when I first saw this listed, I almost lost my mind because it says Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, but sadly, it's just for the Game Boy Advance. At
Yeah.
this point in time, again, cross your
But
fingers.
there's
and
four-
hope it's
there's
like the
four
PlayStation
questions-
version, the Xbox version, because
Hold on.
we all know your boy loves the 3D era games. Then you get Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition again for the Game Boy Advance, and right here it simply has 3 question marks.
3 question marks.
Now again, I mentioned the intro
I'm gonna-
seemed like a tease for 4 games.
I would say
This
trilogy.
has 3 question marks. Is that 3 games? Don't know, but to close it all off, it says, what's next? Well, Mortal Kombat's all about secrets.
But
So
in the
we hope
trailer,
you
it shows
don't mind
4
if we
question
give a
marks,
few
so it could be 3 or
of
4
our
more
own
games.
For now.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely at least maybe some more versions of
Yeah.
these games that aren't listed here.
I want to see the
For other
Sega
systems,
Saturn versions.
Maybe it's trilogy.
Nobody's
Maybe
really
it's
talking
Mortal
much
Kombat
about that either.
Special Forces or Sub-Zero Mythologies.
Oh, that's another
Or
thing.
maybe the dream comes true.
Sub-Zero
and it's
Mythologies. I
actually
didn't think
those
about that.
3D era games that a lot of us
Oh, there's a
have
Jax video
now
game
it
as
goes
well.
on to close out by saying the full history.
If they add
played
in
our
Sub-Zero's
other products,
Mythologies,
you
that
know
would be cool
Digital
too.
Eclipse doesn't just
No,
stop
no,
at the
yes,
games.
and
We
zero.
produce full interactive
It's a hard game, though.
documentaries that give you all the behind-the-scenes information.
That's another
about
cool
how
thing they're
these
adding to this.
legendary
They're adding like a
games were created.
documentary
Look
with
at
new
the
interviews,
Taro.
behind the
Because
scenes
earlier
stuff,
this year,
lots of
Digital
pictures.
Eclipse traveled to WB Interactive Entertainment to interview
So they're
Mortal
really
Kombat
going all
creators,
out for
builders,
this, which is
clients,
awesome.
alongside literally
This thing's gonna
dozens
sell
of
well,
devs,
dude.
actors, industry fans, Mortal Kombat experts. We're excited to say we're once again working with the incredible filmmakers behind the Tetris Forever game to make this documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
Going on, it
We
says
got
we're
a
also gonna do
documentary in
dive
this
into
bad
the
boy.
history of Mortal Kombat
This
from
is the
fine
stuff
design
that I like to
documents,
see.
Early prototype materials, motion capture
In the
sessions,
future, it'd be cool if they
concept
did
arts,
like
and
a
much more
Tekken
never before seen.
collection.
You'll be able to step through our interactive timelines as if you were walking through a Mortal Kombat museum, watching videos, playing games, viewing photo galleries, and more as you travel through the history of the franchise. So it sounds like the crypt on crack. Everything MK1 was missing, we're getting.
Yeah, they're getting a lot.
Remember, fighting the elusive green ninja reptile, entering
3
a combat
question
code to
marks.
transport yourself to noobs,
So
Thorfinn pulling off an animality and transform into a dragon and eat your opponent's torso. Mortal Kombat games are full of secret content, some gruesome, some silly. We will give you open access to everything in these games without need for hidden codes or memorization.
that's cool.
How will we do that? That's still a secret, but it won't be
Yeah.
for long.
So yeah, there's
So
more
I
to
guess
be
we
announced
can
for
fight
this bad boy.
Reptile and everyone else with the click of a button. So there you go. Again, I'll have this link down below.
This
With
is
a name
awesome.
like the Legacy Collection, you would
I'm
think that
gonna be
those
badass,
3D
dude.
era games would be included if they actually come through and give you those mainline games,
Oh, yeah.
Shaolin Monks, Deadly Alliance, Deception,
Shaolin
Armageddon.
Monks, I'd like to see a remaster
Man,
of.
how is that to celebrate 30 years of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, so they have.
Wouldn't that just be the greatest gift to us, especially after the shit show that was Mortal Kombat 1, this whole Liu Kang new era?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, this game's gonna sell really well.
That's what I
regardless.
was
If they
just
don't
saying.
include those games, most of us are gonna pick
This thing's
up. I
gonna
know
sell
some of
like
you guys
hotcakes,
are
man,
still
on a
upset
Saturday
that
morning.
Gold isn't confirmed
Oh,
yet.
yeah, dude.
Trilogy's not confirmed yet.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Right,
I'm
trilogy
sure
or
they have
gold,
a
but I'm
reason
sure it
why
will
that's
be.
not going to be included. Maybe trilogy would just be too broken, too OP. I don't know.
No, they gotta add in trilogy.
We'll see how this goes. Obviously, there's not a real.
Well, I'll stop it there. I don't want to play the whole video, but let me read over some of these comments, what people are saying.
Oh yeah.
As somebody said, after the fall of MK1, this collection is exactly what we needed.
Hell yeah.
Right on. What a heroic day for the fans and for Mortal Kombat. Nice.
Mortal Kombat.
Somebody's saying I need those PS2 games to be part of this. I don't see that happening, but it could. I mean, there's 3 or 4 question marks there. I'm like I said, if they're gonna add 3 or 4 more games, I'm hoping, like I said, Trilogy's got to be in there, and it would be nice to get the Sega Saturn versions, and even the Dreamcast MK Gold. But who knows? They may add in Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. Yeah, that's another thing. Let's see. I could finally get to play the OG game. Now we need the Gold Trilogy Mythology. Oh yeah, Special Forces. I never played that one. I don't think Special Forces. Um, he wants Shaolin monks in there. I don't see Shaolin monks being part of that. But I'd like to see a remaster of Shaolin monks. Let's see. Somebody says, I really hope MK9. I don't see MK9 being in there. That's a PS3, Xbox 360 game. If anything, they should remaster MK9. Somebody's like, I finally get to play MK4. Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
We get to finally play these games on modern consoles. Let's see here. Hope there will be physical release, not just digital. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get physical. That would be stupid. I mean, I don't think there's any word yet on the physical. I think we're getting physical. I would assume we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they did what this company did with the rest of the collections they did in the past. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get a physical release. Even if it's, let's say, worst case scenario, it's just digital. I mean, it's still we're getting something, but I'm pretty sure we're getting physical. That would be pretty fucking stupid if this is digital.
Physical, we gotta get physical.
Somebody wrote down, I'm so freaking hyped. Somebody's like, Shaolin monks, please. I want to buy that so fast.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember how many of the Mortal Kombat games I've played.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've played a couple of them over the years, but I know like all the newer ones with like the horror villains and stuff. I haven't really played. How many of the villains have they put in these Mortal Kombat games so far?
Well, hell if I know. Lots.
I know like Leatherface is in it. I know Freddy Krueger's in one of them.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, Leatherface.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know, a lot of them.
Have they put Jason in any of them yet?
Yes, they have. I think that was they were in the 10th game. You got fucking Terminator, Rambo.
They need to make like the ultimate fucking Mortal Kombat game where you can get all of them in one fucking game.
I'm surprised they haven't put Chucky in one yet. That's probably a future thing. But yeah, I mean, this is looking to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, that too. They got Ghostface in one of them. I think, yeah, okay. They got him in the new MK. I think it was called. They call it MK1.
Yeah. So, what about Michael Myers?
Yeah, I believe he's in there as well.
You know what I was always love to see. Have a game where you could pit Jason against Michael Myers.
Well, they should just make an all horror game You
Yeah,
know,
make like a Mortal Kombat game, but with all the fucking horror
yeah,
villains.
exactly. Make it a horror icon thing. Put all the motherfucking
Like, yeah, I mean, imagine all the
horror.
horror people you could put in a game.
Yeah,
Like, you could put fucking Victor Crawley,
yeah,
the
that would be
fucking
cool.
the three inbreds from fucking the Wrong Turn movies.
Yeah, you could put Chucky in there.
Chucky,
What about
Pinhead,
Pinhead, Hellraiser? You know,
Leprechaun.
yeah, that would be fucking trippy.
Dude, imagine Chucky versus
Yeah.
Leprechaun.
What about Megan?
Megan,
Yeah.
yeah, Megan.
How fucking cool would that be? You know,
Yeah.
that
What
would be
about
trippy.
yeah?
I mean, yeah, just put all the horror icons in this motherfucker. Make one
Imagine not
big.
only that. Imagine like getting like really like. Imagine if you could put in like what the fuck's that? His name? Bill Moseley from the fucking Devil's
Yeah,
Rejects.
or
You
him.
put like his character,
Yeah,
like Otis. You know,
that would be cool. Or put his character in from Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
yeah, Chop Top.
Chapta, yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be like, dude, like that would be cool to fucking do some super big time, like call it like the battle of the horror villains. Like
Yeah,
who is the true best? Like,
yeah, that'd be
and like
cool.
just have everyone on there, like you said, like Freddy, Jason, Leatherface,
And have another
Ghostface,
round be the ones that make it.
Candyman,
Oh yeah, that
fucking
would be interesting. Yeah,
um. Damn, who else would be out there to fucking put in that damn game?
just put them all in there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, all the motherfuckers. Just get them in there.
Imagine a cool ass game with all of them, but it could be like you you can play it in different ways. Like you could fight like to the death one another, or imagine if you do have like wrestling matches.
Oh, that would be pretty different.
Like you have like Freddy and Jason against like Michael Myers and Ghostface.
Yeah. So
Who
yeah,
else did that?
Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection's coming out for every system. I'll be getting it. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going after physical copies. They better do physical. I'm pretty sure they are, but
Yeah.
they'd be fools if it was just DLC only. So they're definitely going to do a good job with this. We're expecting, like I said, that those question marks, 3 or 4 more games. Who knows? That could be something else, though. That could be like 3 or 4 surprises on something completely different, you know.
Yeah.
But there's more to come for this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get trilogy. So, okay, moving on from the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, we're now going to be jumping into the Nintendo Switch 2.
Nintendo Switch 2, huh?
Yes, we got a 2 here, which I guess it's a new console, but it's not. You know, it's the same thing as a Switch, but they're calling it a 2, which is I don't know, and it's like worse than the fucking original Switch in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be going over like my likes and dislikes on the Switch 2, and we're gonna actually also listen in on one of the videos from the Dreamcast guy as well about the system. And there are a few good things about it, but there seems like there's just more bad than good. And for me personally, it's not worth buying at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because so let's get into it. So
Okay.
the Nintendo Switch, right? That came out years ago. Great system. But when that system came out, it was only $300. The
Yeah.
Switch 2, they want $450. And I'm trying to figure out where do you justify the extra $150 price jump for a Switch 2? I'm just not seeing it. I don't get it.
Inflation.
Yeah. Because there's only a few good things that I could see about this system. One of them happens to be I would say the screen size. It's bigger.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then some of the games do look pretty damn fun. Like that Mario Kart World looks fun, and that Donkey Kong game looks pretty fun. But even those games went way up in price now. They want $80, $90 for a fucking game now.
Damn.
That is just ridiculous. What happened to $59.99 games?
Or that. What the fuck happened to $20 games?
Yeah, when they went on sale. Well, Nintendo doesn't even do that.
I'm talking about not even on sale. Like way back in the day. Like, you know, you go out and get like a Nintendo game or a fucking Genesis game or.
Well, yeah, they would back in the day when the game's been out for years, they dropped the price, or they have like a player's choice or a greatest hits, and they'll drop the price. But with Nintendo nowadays, they don't do that. You know, it's pretty sad. Now you guys are charging $80 for a game. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, the only two things that I'm seeing that I actually like about the Switch 2 is like the screen is bigger. I think it's like an inch bigger, something like that. And some of the games look really fun. Other than that, there's nothing else that it pulls me in to want to buy this system. I've heard the screen is not that great. The OLED is far better. Let's see. The battery life for the Switch 2 is not that great. The original is better. Yeah. And this keycard bullshit, it's just bullshit in my eyes.
Yeah.
You know, where you got to download the game and you need a keycard to play it. I mean, why not just have it as normal DLC or physical? You know, why are you coming up with this keycard bullshit? Why are you adding problems to systems?
Like
Each system.
When you're in the mood to play a video game, you know, you want to get right onto your game, like
exactly.
Right, you don't want to go out, key card, gotta download it, gotta wait, you know, internet slow.
Or gotta update it. And that's another thing with all the game systems now, is the fact that you can't even play a game. You can't just buy the system, open it up, put it on, you know, connect it to your TV and play it. You now have to connect it to the internet in order to just be able to play your games now. That's fucking great. I gotta thank Xbox for that one years ago when they pulled that bullshit with the 24-hour or 40-hour check-ins.
You know what, though? I mean, I will say this. The cool thing about the Xbox Live is way back in the day, me and my buddies used to get in the Halo playing competitions.
Yeah. You talk about the original Xbox or Xbox 360?
I want to say maybe, I don't remember. I mean, this was like years ago. I'm talking like, this is like probably 2005.
Oh, okay. I think that's around right when 360 first came out.
Yeah. All I know is we went to like one of these places that had all these Xbox and PlayStations and all this, and you could take it live, and you know, we could all like join in and work as a team against a bunch of other players all over the world, and it was cool as hell playing it that way. But
yeah, that's if you want to play online. But what I'm more getting at is like these systems. I'm not an online player, by the way, but I mean every system now requires an internet connection just for a setup. You know, I'm reading it right here. It says the Nintendo Switch 2 does not force users to be online to play games, but an internet connection is required for your first setup. The same thing with the PS5s and your Xbox Series X and S and 1. You know, except for the original model PS5. Other than that, all your newer systems now, you can't do nothing with them until you take it online first, which I think is just bullshit. And that's the one thing I can't stand about as time goes on. It did just make it worse and worse for us. Why make it harder and harder, you know, for gamers that just want to kick back and play video games?
That's why a lot of people would just rather go back to buying the vintage stuff.
Yeah, I prefer the old school stuff. You know, that's over the newer shit.
You know, like like a Nintendo or a Sega
Right.
Genesis or
You pop your
you,
Super Nintendo game in your Super NES system. Boom, that's it. You're ready to go.
yeah.
You don't have to jump through hoops in order to play your fucking system.
You don't need no key card. You don't need no fucking
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Internet.
stop creating problems that we don't fucking need.
You ain't gotta wait for fucking downloading.
Right, that's the thing. When you get your system, you got to take it online. You got to do all this setup bullshit, update it. Who knows how long that will take? Could take a good hour or so. And then you got your games. That takes a while to download and update.
All that shit, you're not even gonna be in the mood for a fucking video game.
Exactly. By the time you're done updating it and then downloading games and this and that and jump through your hoops and putting in your passwords and all this bullshit, I've lost interest.
Yeah.
And it's like an hour or two later. It's just kind of pointless.
At that point, they're gonna be like, oh, you got to download, or you got to wait for this, oh, you got to do an update. It's like, man, fuck this. I'm just gonna watch me a movie.
Right. So yeah, I have a big problem with the game consoles, newer game consoles, when it comes to this stuff. And eventually, I just feel like it's all going to fold in on itself because of this. You guys keep coming up with the rules and restrictions and this and that, and people are like, I don't know how this Nintendo Switch 2 system is selling so well, because there's a lot of people pissed off about it as well. It says there's more than 3.5 million Switch 2 consoles were sold worldwide within 4 days of release. Wow, how is that? Like, I don't get it. I don't see the appeal or anything.
It should be how many sold and how many wound up in the garbage the next day.
Yeah. How many ended up bricked? Because I've heard stories where their systems get bricked for doing some dumbass shit, and then you can't even use it again after that. So it's really weird that, the way this generation is going. I'm old school. I mostly go for old school shit anyway. So as far as me picking up a Switch 2, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting one, let's say, many years down the road, maybe when they do like a better version of it, maybe, and the price has to drop down big time, because there's no way I would ever pay $450 for a Switch 2, unless.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? It's the same thing as a Switch, pretty much. You're getting a few cool things, sure, but it doesn't justify the price adjustment on that. The $150 more, plus then there's tax. You're looking at another, like, at least $30 in tax. Okay, so now you're looking at close to $500 just for a fucking Nintendo game system.
Yeah.
That.
You gotta go, like you said, you gotta jump through hoops just to play a video game.
Jump through hoops just to get the thing started and play a game. It's just, to me, it's not. It kills the fun in it.
Buy this system and then just make sure though you got 2 hours to wait before you can actually play a video game on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would take that long, but I could see it taking at least an hour, maybe. I don't know.
Updating. And then, of course, when you finally get the game on, you're going to fucking have it where it's going to be like, waiting to download.
Right.
Waiting to download.
Yeah, and what's with the shitty battery life, and what's with the screen itself, they say, is worse than the OLED. So why are we paying more for fucking less? It's just like kids in a candy store, like the shiny new toy, and they got to go out and get it, not realizing it's bullshit.
It's like you see the thing they have on the McDonald's Big Macs now, showing what a Big Mac looked like 10 years ago compared to what.
Yeah. They might as well call it a Little Mac now.
Yeah, the Big Mac's actually getting smaller, and the fucking price is going up.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, as far as me buying a Nintendo Switch 2, it's. At first I was like, yeah, this is cool. Maybe at some point I'll probably get one. But now, after looking at a lot of things, it's like, no, I'm really not interested. You know,
I can do without that.
yeah. Plus, I already have the Switch One OLED, so it's like I'm fine with that. And they're still making games for that. But who knows if they make better versions down the road of Switch 2 and fix a lot of this shit, then maybe I'll look into getting one. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm starting to get pissed off about these newer game systems. Having to fucking go online just to fucking
Well,
uh,
why do you think I gave up on
just
video
yeah,
games and I just watch movies now?
just to set up your game system, you have to go online. I mean, what if you don't have online? So if you buy a game system, what if a kid wants to just go buy his game system and pop in
Yeah,
a game? He can't now. It's there's no way unless if you go online. And that's the
yeah,
problem with this current generation of things. And like I said, eventually it's just gonna the more rules and restrictions you put on game systems, the worse it's gonna get, and eventually it just fold in on itself.
yep.
I mean, that's how I feel about it. I know hopefully things will change in the future. They always say speak with your wallet, like they did years ago when Xbox One came out. They had this, well, I think it was a 24 48 hour check-in online. That way you have to check in like once every 48 hours, something like that, in order to play your games. And people were pissed, man. They weren't
Yeah,
buying the system. They made it real loud and clear to the point where Xbox had to make changes. They had
yeah,
to go in and change that restriction. Because who the fuck wants to pay $500 for a game system with rules and restrictions?
yeah,
You know what I mean? When I go to buy a game system, I want to be free, to do what I want. I'm not going to be checking in and doing this and, blah, 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 But, anyways, enough of a rant about that. But other than that, I mean, like I said, the Nintendo Switch 2 is not all bad.
let's keep going. Let's keep going with this, man. Come on.
Yeah. The Nintendo Switch 2 isn't too bad.
All
It's
right.
just it's just certain things I really don't like about it, and there's certain things I do like about it. I like that Donkey Kong game looks awesome.
Yeah,
That Super what was it? That Mario
Kart.
Kart world looks really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
We've always been diehard
yeah,
of
we've
Kart.
always been diehard Mario Kart fans.
Hell yeah,
So Nintendo puts out some of the best video games ever.
that was our shit back in the
Yeah,
day.
for the Nintendo 64, we used
Yeah,
to play the hell out of that.
well, yeah. Every time we get together, man, we can pop on fucking Mario Kart. We can sit there. We can play or you can play like the battles, like where it's like you can race everybody else, but then also me and you could just have like a single battle with the fucking balloons and shit.
Right, right, which is also fun.
Yeah.
And now, what I want to do is I want to listen into the Dreamcast guy. I want to hear what he has to say
All right.
about the Nintendo Switch 2. And fans are also mad about certain things. So let's listen in on one of his videos for a few minutes here and see what he's got to say.
Hey there, gamers, Dreamcast guy here, and today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 because this is still just such a controversial device, and I feel
Yeah,
like it's for good reason. This thing is getting so much hate online for its big price tag, for
yeah,
its lack of games, for its honestly pathetic battery life.
oh
But I
yeah,
want to talk about this today because there has been a video that so many subscribers have sent me that's apparently so controversial, which is by Digital Foundry, where I'm a big fan of Digital Foundry. They're the kings of tech analysis, in my opinion. They're so good about measuring frame rates and resolution and just raw power of a system. And they did a giant takedown, basically saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a big leap. Undeniably, the thing has more power, it's got better processing, it's got everything, right?
right,
The big problem is this physical screen. This is pathetic. This
yeah,
thing is so incredibly bad. This screen is worse than the Nintendo Switch OLED. It's worse than the original Nintendo Switch.
yeah.
It's worse than the Steam Deck. It is worse than everything. This is literally the worst freaking screen. And
Wow.
part of the confusion about that is just the fact that this system being so ridiculously expensive and every other
Yeah,
part of it being such a leap up Why did they downgrade the screen?
Yeah, no
Let's
shit.
talk about that, because a lot of Nintendo fanboys are actually calling them liars, even though they posted their evidence. So let's take a look at the facts, because I just feel like I'm in a spot still where I'm annoyed about how expensive every part of the Nintendo Switch 2
Yeah, it
is.
is
For how
expensive.
big the price tag is, it doesn't match the actual quality.
That's
So
what I'm
many
saying.
expensive
How do you
controllers and
justify
games and
the
stuff for a
price?
system that barely looks like a Nintendo Switch Pro. Well, let's talk about the two and why this Digital Foundry video seems to have ruffled so many feathers. Hi, hope you have a great day, and if you could please give this video
It's
a
pretty good
like
YouTuber.
and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this blurb very much sums up their video. Their video is not a giant hater screed. It's actually pretty positive.
Yeah, there's
for
a
the
lot
most
of
part.
bad
An
and
impressive
a little bit of
package
good
some
with this
excellent new
Switch
features.
2.
Switch 2 delivers a generational leap with remarkable efficiency, but the screen is surprisingly poor.
I heard it plays the
This
original
video is
Switch games
2 hours
better.
long, and I feel like it does a great job of
Yeah.
really highlighting the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 is the best part of it is honestly the fact that it just plays Nintendo Switch 1 games better. Look, we
Yeah,
don't have a lot
it
of
does
Nintendo
look
Switch
it
2
plays
games right now. We
Switch
have
1 games a lot
like
better, which
3
is
Nintendo
cool. I'll
Switch
give
2
them
games.
that.
Whoop de freaking do. I still feel like they should have launched Donkey Kong instead of crappy ass Mario Kart. But
Crappy ass Mario Kart.
the beefiness of the
Oh.
Nintendo Switch 2 is actually
I got a
this
bone to pick
performance
with you,
is
buddy
insane.
boy.
I give them giant kudos.
No, I'm
Of
kidding.
their entire
I guess
team,
it's just
I'd
this
say
preference, but I'm a big Mario
93%
Kart fan.
is just gushing
Yeah,
and
I
positive.
agree.
But they did point out the
Like
fact that
Chris
there
Jericho
is
used to
some
say,
serious issues with
just
how
made the
you
list.
see this. Like, if you're the kind of person that plays it predominantly handheld, you are getting a worse experience. I like this quote here. Digital Foundry points out actual problems with Switch 2 screen, but overall praises it. Nintendo soldiers. A ton of Nintendo people are mad about this. Now, what are we seeing here? As you can see, this is a thing called ghosting. If you've ever had an old school PSP 1000, there were multiple versions of the original PlayStation Portable.
Ghosting.
The 1000, the 2000, and the 3000. The 3000 really fixed the screen. This is a problem with really low quality screens where essentially it's basically blurring the visuals. Now, some people would say, oh, that video is running at 33% or at 11%. This is being filmed with a high-speed camera. The human eye would not perceive this, but I disagree in the fact that this does not look good, especially with 2D stuff. And that's basically what they said. They said if you're playing a game like, I don't know, something like Sonic Mania is the example they give. If you're specifically playing 2D platformer, something with really good pixel art, the image quality is drastically worse on the Nintendo Switch 2. And it just seems bizarre that any games at all would look or play better on the Nintendo Switch 1. Like, it just almost seems impossible. Now, I want to make it clear, we're not just talking about the Nintendo Switch OLED, the original Nintendo Switch.
Oh, wow.
The launch version of Nintendo Switch from 2017 actually looks better from a screen standpoint than the Nintendo Switch 2.
That's pretty bad.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
how the hell is that possible? But yeah, I'll stop it there. I'll only play a few minutes of his video. But, I mean, yeah, you pretty much get the point on the Switch 2. There's some good and a lot more bad. So,
like you say, I guess people want you to pay more for less now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I hope Nintendo, watches a lot of these, videos and takes a note of all this stuff and, works on it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that is my likes and dislikes on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
But okay, now we're going to be jumping into some questions from Daniel Santana. He's got quite a few here. We'll go over and
Daniel Santana, no relation to Tito Santana.
Absolutely not.
Or is he? You need to ask him that.
No, he's probably not.
I know.
I'm sure by now he would have mentioned that. But, okay, we got some video game questions for us. He asked, question 1. Was Joe ever a subscriber to GamePro magazine in the 90s?
I know of the magazine, but no, I was not a
subscriber. Yeah. A lot of us.
I never really was. Like, a lot of the magazines and stuff they had come out back in the day, like, the only magazine I really ever like actually got a subscription for was the WWF magazine, and I only probably had like maybe a 6 month deal on that, and then I couldn't pay to redeem it, so I just canceled after 6 months.
Oh, okay.
That was cool, yeah, but it was cool though. I mean, go and check the mailbox, and every month, and bam, be the newest edition of the WWF magazine.
Heck
I
yeah.
wish I would have kept all of it. It was like this was back in the '80s.
Right. Oh yeah, it's old school.
Back
Next,
when back when wrestling was the king.
right. Next question here is, what's the best? What is Joe's best WWF game to play on the NES? He says WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge.
No,
That probably is.
the original Nintendo.
Yeah, there's quite a few wrestling games that hit the Nintendo. What do you
Yeah.
think is the best?
That is a good question. I know the one I used to love to play, and I still wouldn't mind playing today. Would be the original WrestleMania game.
No, I have that one. That's the only one I
Yeah.
have. I need to get the others.
Because I loved how you could hear like their when you're fighting, you can hear their like their intro music. I remember always
Yeah.
being the honky tonk man, beating somebody down and hitting that button over and over again, hearing that.
Yeah.
Used to annoy my brother all the time with that shit. He'd be like, "Dude, come on, quit fucking putting that stupid song on." Oh, what? You don't like it?
Yeah, there is a WrestleMania NES gameplay.
Yeah, the WrestleMania. They had a lot of wrestling cool ass games. They had what was that one WCW had out?
Well, let me look it up.
I know WCW had one that
Right.
had like some of the older stars like Rick Steiner and Eddie Gilbert, the Road Warriors.
There's Pro Wrestling for the NES.
Yeah.
I have that one. Hard as hell. You know, these are hard games.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, the Steel Cage Challenge.
So I don't think I ever played Steel Cage. I don't think I ever played Steel Cage Challenge.
Yeah.
Was that for the?
Yeah, I believe they made 3 games for the NES as far as WWF goes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I had a lot of like I remember. You remember how back in the day when you get Nintendo games, remember that you could buy like a case, you could carry all your Nintendo games in.
Yeah.
It had little slips in it where you could put each game. We actually had one at the time, and where you could always open it up, and we had it full of like some cool ass games. We had the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt double thing deal.
Right. The 2-in-1.
I had WrestleMania. We had what else we had? We had Ninja Gaiden, the Zelda Gold edition. What else do we have? Had a lot of damn. I think we had like Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had the second one. I remember playing the first one and the third one. Never really, I don't think we ever much played the second one. But
yeah, the WCW game for the NES, I think it's just called WCW Wrestling.
Yeah, did it have the Road Warriors on the cover?
Yeah, this one it says
yeah, that's the game
has 8 selectable moves.
Yeah.
This is each wrestler had 8 selectable moves, 2 Irish whip moves, and a finisher.
it's funny how you look back at wrestling games for the original Nintendo and how cheesy they were back then, and
Yeah,
now you look at how much they've advanced
yeah,
till
technology.
now, to where you watch the wrestlers come out and you look like you're seeing like the real deal fucking Holyfield.
Yeah, it's crazy. Technology, man. It's just
Yeah. One day technology is going to be so badass, like like you're going to have like you're going to be thinking you're watching like an actual like Monday Night Raw, and you're controlling everything about it.
right. It's like right there in your living room.
You're going to be
Yeah.
controlling the match. You're going to be able to do fucking like commentary on the match, and
Yes, sir. Let's
they
see.
never thought of doing something like that for like a wrestling game where you could actually like you could do like your own commentary and shit.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Let's see
where they'd
here.
be putting you play to watch a match, and you could just like you could put in like your own commentary, like off the road. Oh man, look at that big man go down.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, big slam jam. Oh shit, he almost dropped him on his head.
Let's see here. Question 3 is: did you own WCW versus NWO World Tour? If so, what year did you get it? That came out for the N64, I believe.
I don't think I had that one. Like I don't think I had the world. I remember like I had some I think some WCW games for what was it? I know there was I forget what system it was, but I know I did have like a WCW NWO game.
Yeah, they made quite a few WCW games back in the day.
Yeah, I had one for like the original PlayStation. It was I forgot what it was called, WCW versus the World or WCW. They had like a bunch of like people that like you had like the current stars of WCW, you had members of the NWO, and then they threw in some like Japanese wrestlers,
Yeah,
and I thought that game was pretty damn cool.
right on. Um,
But the World Tour, I don't think I had a copy of that.
let's see. Okay, what year did Joe get a PS1 console?
Ooh, a PS1 console. Well, the first one I ever got came in like probably the late '90s, early 2000s. But my brother, who lived with me, grew up with me, that he bought a PS1. I think right around the time they first came out,
Right on.
and but he always hogged the fucking thing up, playing his damn. He loved his damn sports games.
Oh, okay. I never got
And
into sports games that much back in the
I
day.
never. I mean, I just like football games and basketball games. It just I remember the original what was that, NBA Jam for
The
uh
PS1? Boom shakalaka.
yeah. Remember he's like that you get like you put a code in and you get like Will Smith and like Bill Clinton,
Yeah, right,
and
right. Yeah,
it'd be like to Bill to Fresh.
yeah, yeah. That was cool. That's a
Yeah,
fun game. Yeah, I like that one.
yeah.
But I,
I remember playing that game. I remember, but like for the PS1, I did pick up like when my brother first got one. I did pick up a couple games for that system. Like I said, I got the that used to love to go to Mercabi Toys.
of course,
You could always get like if I mean you could always. I loved about going there because you could always just find like not just toys, but they had like video games behind the counter, and
right.
you used to go there all the time and get like the newest games, like. I tell you, one of my favorite PS1 wrestling games was In Your House.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was one of my probably my favorite games. How cool that game was.
PS,
But
they made
yeah,
quite a bit of wrestling games for the PS1.
yeah. I mean, there was a time that later on down the road, I was able to like. I think I went to like a. Where did I get one at? Like, I either got one that was given to me, or I think I bought like one cheap at like a thrift store or something, and used to started getting back into some of the old school games, and
Right.
you know
Yeah, they made a lot. They made SmackDown 1 and 2.
yeah, I remember having that SmackDown. I think the SmackDown 2 Know Your Role.
Yeah.
That was a cool game. Had a lot of cool stars and had different kinds of like battles and stuff you could do.
Yeah, they had WrestleMania, the arcade game, In Your
Yeah,
House. They had Attitude and Warzone.
yeah.
So they had quite a few. As of right now, I believe I'm missing Attitude for the PS1.
Because I didn't like just wrestling games for PS1. Like there were a lot of cool kick-ass games that came out for the PS1, like Twisted Metal. I love that fucking game.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah,
The first few Twisted Metal games are awesome. Twisted Metal Black is kick ass too.
yeah.
Fun
But
game. We haven't seen one of those in a long time. Let's see here. Uh, did Joe own The Death and Return of Superman for the Super NES?
I did not.
Okay,
No.
and now he has a few questions for me, which
Okay.
is how many Sega Genesis games did I own in total in the 90s? In total, I have no idea. Um, I know it wasn't a lot. Um, I
I know
know,
I didn't have a lot of them either. Like as far as Sega games go,
yeah, I know I had Streets of Rage 2, Beavis and Butthead.
I love, dude. I remember having the Beavis and Butthead game, and
Yeah,
even though it was a silly ass game,
it's hard.
I love that fucking
Yeah,
game.
the game is awesome, but it's just hard. I could never beat it.
Yeah, after you got to like a certain point, like trying, like wasn't there one like they had to try to like sneak in and get by the principal or something to get it because they were hunting for pieces of their guard tickets.
I mean, maybe. I know they were looking for Guar tickets, but I don't remember much
Yeah, you had to keep going to all
of the
these places
gameplay.
to find like. I mean, you couldn't just find the ticket itself because the ticket got like shredded, and they had to find like you have to go to different like stages and get each piece.
Right, until you got all of them.
And it's funny they use like belching and farting as like their powers, and then you get like a spitball deal, or you can finally like pick up like some weapons or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, in total, I have no idea. I don't really remember. I probably had like less than 10 Sega Genesis games.
yeah,
I only went after like the most, what I thought was the
yeah.
funnest
The one,
games.
like I said, the one that I mean, growing up with a lot of the video games, like my brother had most of all the video games. Like very rarely did I get a game of my own. Like like for the regular Nintendo, I can remember having like WrestleMania. That was my game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Right.
RoboCop, fucking shit. That fucking like I said that WCW game,
Right.
and going on to the Sega Genesis. Like I remember having a couple of wrestling games,
Oh yeah,
and
gotta have wrestling for
like
sure.
I said, having like Beavis and Butthead, and um, I don't even remember. I mean, and my brother probably had some of the sports. He that's what he always got into more. Like I said, the sports games, the football, the basketballs, and
Right.
it's just like I don't find those kind of games interesting. I don't even like watching fucking sports. I like watching like wrestling.
The only sports I like is watching here and there is like MMA,
Yeah,
that type of shit, wrestling. But
yeah.
okay, let's see. He asked me, do you own Contra? Do you own Contra 1988 and Super Contra NES in the 90s?
Yeah, bro, did you have those?
I believe I had the original Contra, but
I
I don't think I
remember.
had Super Contra. No, not Super.
I don't know if I owned Contra, but I do remember. I think I remember playing Contra over at your house.
Yeah, I think I only had the first one, and that was it.
Yeah,
I didn't have any of the rest. And the last question here is: did you own Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 for the NES in the 90s? I don't think I don't think I did. I know I played it at other people's, other friends' houses and stuff, but I don't think I
I
actually own those games.
I never I never owned them. Like I said, my brother had the first game.
Right.
It was a pretty cool game. I remember I played that game a few times myself.
The Ninja Gaiden games are pretty cool, but they're just hard. I don't think I've ever beaten any of them, so it's all good.
Yeah,
So that is it for the questions.
yeah, a lot of good old school video games, man. Like there's a lot of kick-ass ones out there. Like
Oh yeah, and every now and then, they pop out some good ones, man, that are awesome.
yeah,
That I enjoy playing. I like playing. Well, I mostly like playing the old school ones, like stuff on the PS2,
yeah.
Xbox, GameCube.
Sometimes man, I have a couple games, but I don't really play a whole lot of video games. But
Yeah, the only thing you got now, I think, is that
yeah,
Sonic collection.
yeah, which I
And
only really sometimes down there I play that game Columns,
yeah,
which
which we were addicted to columns back in the
I
day.
still have. What do you mean? Or used to be? I still am. I mean, I get on that fucking game.
Well,
I
you
get in the
still play it?
I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but like I would have a day where I would just. It's like how me and you used to play it back in the day. Like you get a high score, you're like, oh man, that's just. I gotta beat that score. I gotta beat that
Yeah,
score. Every time I get the high score, I'd be like, I gotta keep setting the bar, setting the bar, setting the bar. It's like to a point, I was like, okay, I can't go any higher.
yeah. You set the bar so high that it's
Yeah,
really
I
hard
think
to reach.
I was playing one time and I got up to like a million points. I'm like, dude, I'm done. It took me like hours to reach that point.
Oh, damn. That
And
was the same thing with the Metroid pinball for the Nintendo DS. We were setting that bitch
yeah,
real high in score.
me and you were, we used to be competitive with a lot of games like
Those two
Columns
games for
and
sure.
Metroid.
Those two games for sure, yeah.
Yeah, we had one game we started to have like some fun on because you had like the steering wheel and shit for one of the systems and had this like one car game where you could like you have to go around this track and if you did like spins and stuff you collect points or whatnot.
Right. Those are
And
fun to use, steering wheels,
yeah,
car games.
what was real fun is back in the day we used to go to the arcades. They had the games where you feel like you're sitting in a car and you got the shifter, you got the steering wheel, you got the gas pedal,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's what I loved. Like like watching make it act like you're really racing in the race, like downshift,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure the steering wheels now for the newer consoles are probably badass, for
yeah.
racing games and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, there you have it. I think we'll wrap this one up, unless if you got anything else to say about video games.
Shit, dude, we could sit here and talk video games all night.
For sure.
But
But
not
yeah,
tonight.
yeah, we'll save it for next time.
It'd be funny to say that, like, you'd be like, man, we're gonna talk about video games all night, just not tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, there you have it, guys. We were talking about the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, that's
Um,
gonna be cool if they come out with that. Like I said, if you get every damn Mortal Kombat game on one deal,
yeah, or even just like most of the old school ones.
yeah,
I'm cool with that. You know.
I'm cool. I'm cool with the old school shit.
Yeah.
You know,
And I can't wait to see what they announce,
yeah,
because it's as of right now we're still in the dark on a few things. We don't know what else they're going to announce, but I'm almost guaranteeing that trilogy is going to be in there. But anyways, we're going to wrap this one up, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. That is it for now. We're out of here, and peace.
later.